welcome to Palmer Power Motorsports. This week I've got Brandon Christie here driving his little S10 Blazer Casper, and also known to everybody out there as BadCo Racing or BadCo Race Engines. So thank you for coming out, Brandon.
Good being here.
Appreciate you, buddy. So been here, love chatting for a little bit, and we mainly set this thing up to let everybody know who Brandon is, what he does, and stuff like that. Now, I know that I think he's touched my motors before. We were talking about that. So all you guys out there, they always say, oh, David, he's all motored up and everything like that, you know. This guy right here is probably, he's
had a hand in part of it, probably.
He's had his dick beaters on my motor. You know what I mean? So, but Brandon, who are you working for whenever?
Jim Lewis Race Engines.
Jim Lewis. And where's he at?
Vian, Oklahoma.
People that don't know. So, How long's he been doing engines, do you think?
Oh, man. He's been at that same place there since 96. So.
Is that, well, I thought longer than that, or no?
No, he's been there since 96. He was in Salisal before that.
I think I have seen his place.
Probably.
Is it behind his house?
Yeah, got a red trailer bike for years. Now it's a white trailer. But, Yep.
Mm-hmm. Does he race?
He quit driving, but he's still got a car out there.
Now, does he do the Mopar? That's the one you were saying?
69 Roadrunner, 383 stock eliminator. A guy named Derek Hake drives it for him.
Drives for him?
Yep. Yeah, he's too old to drive, he says.
Maybe when I get older with all that money, Jim Lewis, I can hire me a driver. Man, I don't think I could ever do that. Could you? Like, if I could build a badass car, would you let another guy like, hey, man, I'm just going to throw the money out the door. Go tear that shit up.
That's the thing. The driver actually puts some of his own money in it, so it's a little different there. He halves it with him sometimes, but, man, that's a one-owner 69 Roadrunner, and it really would bother me to have someone else driving it down the track. But they've known each other years. No guy's a good guy.
Now, hey, that may be a different deal. If you know the guy, he's a buddy. It's like old Ben's Nova. Believe it or not, that is two separate Novas. He had two Novas that looked identical. The one that he's got now is technically not my Nova. The first one was my Nova, but I'm not going to say who, but a certain family member did a front flip with a ball bat and took out the windows because she was very upset with him for doing certain things.
I could see that. I see that. Yeah.
With the Bohannon boys, right?
I could see that. Yeah. And I could see his reaction too. One of them things. Yeah.
I ain't gonna say too much neither. You know what I mean? So, you been married before?
Yeah. I was married for almost 15 years and still with her, just not married again at the moment.
I got you. Oh, is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay. So you just one time?
Yeah, just one.
One.
Yeah. Fortunately or something, I guess.
Well, hey, you guys are at least back together. Yeah. And all the kids with her?
No, they're all, I got one kid there that's 10 years old. One that was out there a while ago. He's the only one at home. Well, the other one's at home too, but he's 21. He can go wherever he wants.
So you got two?
Got three total.
Got three?
Yep.
3 boys?
3 boys.
3 boys.
Now, one of them's, it's his truck I drove out here, a little 350 aluminum headed roller cam deal. So he's into it.
Man, that thing sounded good.
Yeah. The other one, he drives a little 5.0 Mustang, but he's not into the hot rods. He's just into the working and going home, I guess.
Yeah. Well, how long did you work for old Jim?
Off and on for about 16 years.
16 years. Yeah. So you...
I did all the short blocks, all the balancing.
So did he show you a lot of tricks of the trade?
Oh, yeah. He taught me a whole lot, and I learned a whole lot while I was there from, like, Total Seal. There's a guy named Keith at Total Seal. He taught us a lot about the rings, how to set your ring gaps the way you need them, the back cuts on them.
Now tell me about that top ring again. I mean, I know we're doing this show, but I want to know about this top ring.
The ones them stock eliminator guys are running are a diamond finish. They call it diamond lap. They pre-lap it for you, and so it seats up quicker, and it has a better seal with a finer finish.
Okay.
So your profilometer readings can be a little bit finer, and it'll seal up. You won't have less than 0.5% linkage, even after running it on dyno 40 pulls.
Okay, so it's Now, this is guys you said that don't run the vacuum.
They cannot run a vacuum pump. It's a stock eliminator deal. I mean,
because see, I run a vacuum pump, but that'll allow
that'll even be better.
Yeah.
See, they ain't allowed to gas pour. They ain't allowed to do none of that.
So you got to really. You're saying for the boys that really need to seal the motor right out of the gate with no pump,
and it stays sealed.
And what'd you say? They're like $800?
Yeah, for the top ring.
Wow, just the top ring.
Just the top ring. The whole set was around $1,100 to $1,400, depending on it. It comes with spacers.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to change your ring size as far as how thick it is. You got a 5/64 groove factory. It's got to be 5/64, but they put a spacer in there that's gas ported. Mm-hmm. The spacer can be ported, but the rest can't.
Is that right?
Yeah, stock limiter is down to a science. You can make 470 out of 9.5 to 1 350. That's a quadrajet and cast iron intake on it. Stock lift.
Do you still hand cut those?
Yeah.
Just like the...
Yeah. You got to, because every thousandth of bore size is 3,000ths on the end of the ring. So not everybody's going to be exact same bore. So they're always 5 over.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. And you just, according to their chart probably, you just hand cut those according to naturally aspirated or turbo or nitrous car. The chart they give you.
Guideline. Yeah, that's a guideline.
Me, yeah. I'll tell you what, you're right. I'll take that, and I kind of go in between a nitrous and a circle track motor. I go like in the middle of that for most of mine.
Well, it depends on what you're running. Those cars, you could get it down to a 12,000ths gap. Yeah. If you can do that, it seals up better, makes more power, and it's faster, but you got to keep the temperature below 140 or 150. And that's hard to do.
Yeah, mine's around 24, 26. So I think that's right around where I got motor? Mine. Yeah.
Yeah, for dirt motor, that's about right.
Yeah, I've got mine right around there. And I think, I don't quote me on this, everybody. My goodness. But I think it was calling for a 22 and then like a 28 for a nitrous car or something. So I went kind of in the middle, 24.
And that depends on how much nitrous, too.
Yeah.
Everything's for up to 350 or something like that, There'll be a chart. It'll be like 4.5 thousandths per so much inch of bore or per so much bore. You just figure it up.
Well, and I always build my car. On the dirt cars, I always build mine to do multiple things. So if my dirt car has too much motor, which it does right now, and I cannot control it, can't get my hands on it, stuff like that, I'm able to pull that motor out. I can put it in a little S10 or something like that. I can put it in there, and I can put nitrous. I mean, I even put, I make sure that even the head gaskets, everything was for nitrous.
I used to just run them regular old 1,004 hit Velcros.
Yeah.
And I was spraying 300 plus.
Was you? I sprayed 250.
Well, I went to a MLS now, Cometic. I've never run them on my stuff, but it's just another gasket.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what I got on mine right now.
Yeah.
So, but no, it, the nitrous has got crazy now.
Oh God.
Don't you think?
It's
like
it's
me.
insane.
It's kind of awkward for me because I told you I got my old Blazer back, and 14, or what was it? I think the last time I ran it was an 09. I mean, when you're spraying 200 or 300, once I reached 200, it was kind of violent. Off the line, it was just.
That's what the controller fixes.
Does it?
Yes. Mine's.
I never could. They didn't have that back then.
Or it wasn't affordable, or it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I did mine with old manual relays. I know that sounds crazy, but I was engaging and retarding the timing with pills.
Yeah, that's what mine's got.
Yeah, MSD activated switches, and I was doing old school 30 amp relays, and shit was just engaging at certain times. And now they've got crazy shit.
And that leash controller at N2O, that's a nice one. Now Edelbrock's a nice one. And I had the Edelbrock probably 8 or 9 years ago when I got it, the first one. And it worked great. And
what's that called?
Progressive controller.
No, the leash?
It just says N2O on it.
Okay.
It's that leash electronics. That's a good one.
Yeah, leash really electronics or Edelbrock. You want to send us anything?
Yeah, there you go.
He would appreciate it.
Would appreciate it a lot, man.
Me too. Yeah. No, I keep telling them send test equipment over. We'll give a review.
Yeah, we'll give a good review.
Yeah, we'll give a real one.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you if it's junk or not junk. Now you said the Edelbrock seems to be a little bit more.
It's more user friendly, but it's really susceptible to moisture. I didn't even really exactly get it wet. I just had water kind of right there. I was washing it, and I had a glove box lid. It's inside the glove box lid. Every street car, everything's hidden. And man, just that little bit of moisture got to it, and it quit. And I've heard that from a few people. But man, it is really user friendly. But the leash, man, it does a lot more stuff. It's just a little bit harder to use at first. I like both of them. They both work good. But that leash is just, it's a little bitty. It sits on my dash. You can see it right there above the radio. And yes, I still have a radio. It's just got to be really loud to hear it.
Well, I know that I put, put bins in, but the deal is what do you do? You can ramp it in stages or so many seconds. How's it work?
Ramp it in. It's a timer.
It's a timer.
Yeah, it's a timer. Both of them go off a timer. You can ramp in. You start your starting percentage. You can start from 0 to whatever. I always start on 20%, and I went up to usually 60 to 100%, depending on what it was. And my ramp speed on the street was a 1.8 second, and on the track was 0.8 of a second.
Now, guys that don't know much about nitrous, as long as they take this to somebody that knows how to put this controller in and nitrous, it seems like it'd be really user friendly. And
it is.
To like a young guy that don't know much about it.
Young guy, my best advice for a young guy that don't know much about it, have plenty of pistons laying around, because if you don't know how to tune nitrous, you don't need to be running it. Or have a buddy there that knows how, because fuel pressure comes into play, timing, everything. A
lot of people have said, nitrous, oh my God, it blows your motor up. No. I ran mine 4 years solid. And
here's another thing. The old school way of thinking was keep your motor fat and be safe. Yeah. Fat's worse than lean. Lean melts pistons, fat lifts the whole top of them off.
Does it?
Yeah, too fat. I did it a couple times.
Well, no, I've heard of that. That even Ben told me. He said the fat would.
Yeah, it's worse on them. There's a fine line there, but for the most part, tune your motor on motor. Make sure your plugs look good. And you learn how to read a plug. Look it up. You can learn your timing. You can learn your, rich lean, and get your motor tuned good. Then put the nitrous on and tune it.
That's what I do. I actually don't go off of hardly anything. I just use that to get the motor fired up. And I actually use the spark plug to set my timing.
Yeah.
I'll set my timing. That's how I set my jets. And anybody that I think that there's only 1 or 2 good videos that actually show like really how to read spark plugs. And what I did was I bought a little kit out of Jegs. And it had a little magnifying glass with a light on it, and it
must be blind then.
Well, no, it just had. I'd be out there dark, and I'm sitting there trying to mess with it, and it was a little kit that had where I could check everything real quick, and it was all self-contained, and it also had an extra roll of 8 spark plugs, that I already had ready to go. Yeah. So it was a nice little kit for like $30.
Yep.
And I bought that, and then I watched 1 or 2 videos over and over and over till I got every little aspect of, where it needs to be on the curvature of the spark plug.
Where the burn line's at. Make sure you ain't got no spots on the porcelain showing detonation, And if the spots turn into big aluminum spots, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That means the piston's gone.
Yeah. That's a bad deal. Hell, I've had the ends of the spark plugs blown plumb off.
Yeah. I got in a race with a buddy, and I put gas in at Pilot. I was just cruising. I wasn't going to race. Never spray nitrous with ethanol. And I went out there, and my pride got to the better of me, and he jumped, but I went ahead and chased him down, and I melted a piston out doing it.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was cheap gas. You don't ever do that.
Just run that lean real bad, or?
Yeah, it leaned it out real bad. It was pump gas. I shouldn't have done it. And I was just at a cruise night deal, and we come home and he wanted to race, and I should have just said, no, let me get some better gas in it. But no, I'm a racer. It's blow or go. Let's put it out there.
I got you. Well, how long has it been since you street raced?
The other night in that truck out there.
County sheriffs, don't be watching.
No, we was in Mexico. It's not very far to Mexico.
Oh, so good. Yeah. So you were out hot riding the old truck out there, huh?
Yeah, my son's truck. He gets out there and races, but I've raced it. He went out there and raced that cruise night. He raced a Camaro, some new model Camaro, and
did he get him?
Yeah, he got running.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's I don't even know what your car is. Pretty nice car though, but You went out there and raced them.
That's full-size truck with a small block.
Yeah.
What size of motor did you say?
It's stock bottom end 350, standard bore.
Yeah, but the old man, a little love on it.
Well, there's a little set to the rings, but it's still a stock piston. But it's a stock Molly or whatever it's called from a 91 model. They're about like an LT1. Flat top, 4-valve relief deal. And he put some Dragon Slayer heads on them. Old heads are nice. They picked it up a bunch. Brodix hooked him up. Victor Jr. intake, and we put 1,000 CFM carb up on top of that. I bought this carb used from a guy, and I said, let's try that. We stuck it up on there. I had to make the squirters get a little more fuel in there. Man, it runs great. It's responsive. Now on the way up here, it had a dead spot. I don't know what that was, but that might have been me. I laid some rubber on your road out there too, before it turned dirt.
I was going to say, I did that here the other day too, and then rode past the house on a wheelie. I had the old dirt car. I was doing a little test run.
Oh, man.
The neighbors love it, though. They're all like, yeah, do it, hit it. Ah!
Yeah, my neighbors were the same way. When I'd make passes, I got straightaway that just got paved not too long ago, and it was chip and seal first, and I could yank the wheels up about 6 inches in that Blazer on that chip and seal.
So you just test it right out front of the house?
Yeah, I can go through low gear, and that's about it. It's probably 1/8 mile total, so you got to shut down before we make a hard left.
So how long since the Blazer's been out? I haven't seen that Blazer in a few
years.
About
2 years. About 2.5 years now, I think. And
anybody doesn't know, it's what year is it?
It's an 86, but the grill's 92. It's that one-piece grill.
Okay, 86 S10 Blazer, which I was running an 85 S10 Blazer. I always wanted to run an S10 Blazer because when I was at the drags, it seemed like any Blazer that had a V8 in it, that son bitch would hook.
Yeah, they got weight over the back, but when you scale them, it's not that much difference.
Was yours as heavy as mine?
3153 with me in it.
Mine's 34.
Mine wasn't gutted. Only thing missing.
But now mine's caged. I got a 12-point.
Mine too. Mine goes all the way out, strut bars, everything,
and I've got a fiberglass front clip with Lexan windows.
I got steel front clip. Yeah, all the original glass. I had the original dash in it. I gutted the underside. Mine wasn't cut on nowhere as far as gutting.
It was gutted on the underside. What do you mean?
I took all the heater stuff out. That's it.
I've still got all that. I've still got regular old doors and everything.
I got regular doors too.
Yeah.
Roll up windows. I took my power windows out.
Yeah, my little plexiglass windows.
Yeah.
He said he hasn't touched it. He hasn't touched that Blazer of mine. So I'm excited to get it back. But
I bet.
No, I'd have to look at yours closer. Last time I seen it, I couldn't tell hardly any difference in the Blazers.
It's got stock leaf springs in the back.
He's running about the same times. He's a little faster in the 8th, though.
You're a little faster than quarter. You got the gear to do it.
It's give and take.
And mine's only fast it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I don't try
I heard everybody's going to 8th.
Yeah, they are.
Is everybody like, the only reason why I used to be against the 8th.
I did too. I
liked the quarter because if I got my ass out run off the line,
you could make it up.
I would just spray it a little harder and hold the spray on because mine, I had mine on the thumb trigger.
Mine too. I don't do that micro switch. I can't. I know it's good. A lot of people run it.
I just like to sandbag everybody.
We know nothing about that.
Yeah. No comment.
Yes, that's right.
So if you race against me in drag racing on the street, I'm going to be cheating.
Ain't no cheating. Well, this ain't Pinks. Ain't no cheating on that.
No, this ain't Pinks.
Hey, this ain't no cheating.
I had a guy try to do that to me at Tulsa.
You run what you brung. If you didn't bring enough, that's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, or you didn't squirt fast enough.
That's right.
Yeah, hell
either that or you were sandbagging and they was too, and they would have put it on you on the end.
Yeah.
I had that happen a few times.
I hear you.
Or I've done it a couple too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always had single kit, on small block, little 400s, 406 when I had it out before, and I had to go another 10,000 some more just to make my cylinders where I wanted them.
What about the heads? What kind of heads were you running?
Brodix out of the box. 227 CNC ported.
You know what I ran?
What's that?
2-bolt main, 355, dirt track motor, and had a set of Vortex stock heads on it.
And that's about like my old motor used to be when I was running Tulsa. I had a 350 in it with a set of, they was Iron Eagles, but they's a 200 runner street head, and they flow about like a good Vortex.
I just can't believe how fast I got that thing to go.
Mine was running 1040s, 1050s on a 200 shot back then on a 350.
Yeah. Yeah, them little Blazers would get down.
And I had 126 60-foots in that thing, and it's usually with the back end, you know.
You know what I dreaded? I always dreaded another S10 or a Blazer pulled up. Didn't you? I'm like, oh, shit.
Man, I had a guy in Tulsa. I think his name Grant Fry, man. He has a white S10, and that thing is he had that like a Monza, and
I've raced him.
He had that motor in a Monza, and it was real fast. And he told me a story of wrecking the Monza when he went to go sell it. One last pass in it, and made the pass, went up a guide wire, turned it over. But we got out there. We were supposed to race there, and then we was going to hit the street. At the track, at that time, he had me covered. On the street, I think I had him at that time, and well, he went up there and he raced another friend of mine in a Camaro, and I watched him go a 9-1, like a 901. Mm-hmm. I knew my gear wouldn't let me. I could pull the rev limiter out, and I probably 10-2 when I crossed the line like that. Well, I told the other boys, well, get your cameras out. Why? Because ain't nobody going to remember how fast he run. What do you mean? I was over there running my limiters up on my A-frames, and I stood it straight up and down, went on the back quarter panels, and held it for about 160 foot. It went a 10-20 at 102. So I let way out.
Half of it a wheelie.
Yeah, and well, I had to let out. Like I said, I let all the way out of it, and I coasted through on the other end because I thought I broke something. And
what kind of rear end were you running?
4 9-inch.
Well, I mean, suspension-wise.
Man, that's a stock leaf spring.
Yeah.
I de-arched it 4 inches to lower the truck and make them stiffer. And it's got a slapper bar on it that I took the snubbers out, and I put bolts and nuts to make the preload. That's just old school tricks. I did like a super stocker back in the 70s.
It's the same thing I did to John's S10.
Just get rid of you got to de-arch the springs though, because if you run blocks, man, that's dangerous.
Yeah, and if you do run blocks, I did run blocks, but I went cast iron.
Yeah.
I went cast iron, and what I did was I didn't de-arch mine. Mm-hmm. I put the big bar. Anybody that's running these S10s, if they want to, I hate giving out all these damn secrets.
I know it. Ain't that something?
I know. I'm not going to.
Nah, I ain't too worried about it.
No comment.
There we go.
They can come here, give me all your money.
Pay me,
we'll
sucker.
Make you go fast.
Yeah, pay me, sucker.
Yeah, or something. I know. I hate giving too much info. But what I'm saying is there's tricks to that stock suspension.
Yeah.
And I did something similar. I just didn't de-arch it. Mm-hmm. And I ran a Caltrax. Yeah. And but your way, what you're talking about, I did that to a buddy's slapper bars. Put a bolt, number 8 bolt, and I preloaded. I forget which. I think it's the right side. Mm-hmm. I preloaded one side, and I left one where it barely just touched, and the other one I cranked up on it. That sucker was straight as an arrow.
Yep. Mine too. Now, before I put my rest of my cage in, you know, I end up putting the A-pillars and out to the front, and he went straight as a string. And you could watch videos. You can see my fenders get gapped in them and stuff, and he was twisting. Mm-hmm. We put it together, put the cage in and stuff, and I went to the track. Man, that thing went left. What the heck's going on here? It's never went left. Took it, and my rear end was 5/8 of an inch out of square.
Was it?
Yeah, I had to grind the.
Now, was it because you welded it wrong or something, or was it because it jerked or something? Don't know.
It's probably them housing. It wasn't a round housing. It was one of them kind of oval, like out of a car on that 9-inch, so it kind of fits weird on your pad. Yeah. I think it was off to one side a little.
Off to one side?
I think so.
Yeah, you got to... that's one thing I'm super picky with, that rear end. Trying to get it all squared up on the perches.
Shoot, that was in 1999 when I put it on there. I wasn't worried about it.
No,
I just put it on there.
Stuck it under there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen it in action. It's a wheelie pull. Now, Bentley's love, I told you, that thing scared the shit out of us.
Yeah, and...
He pulled like a 4-foot wheelie in front of us.
Yeah.
He broke his header off.
It runs all right. Like I said, he's running off a lot of borrowed parts, including my plate and everything else on it. And he's got a Pro Mod mouth. I'll tell you that, though. Does he? Man, his mouth is so fast, John Force couldn't touch him. Yeah. Yeah, he's a great guy, though. He's one of my buddies. He gets himself in trouble all the time.
I believe it or not, we sit out there and bullshit with him. I think it's about 5-6 months ago, and they were reopening this track. Now, hey, you've been out there.
Yeah.
I went out there 2 or 3 times, and I quit going because I couldn't get the clocks on, and I invited family down. They got mad at me because they said, don't ever invite us back if they can't get their shit straight, or whatever.
Yep.
But I've heard that they've got it. They're getting it all lined out. What do you think of it now? Somebody that's been on it here recent.
Man, they're getting better. But they're attracting a lot faster cars. And like Shop Truck the other day, his brakes failed. And
He was telling me this. They crashed through the damn.
Well, the first shop truck, he turned left. He tried to kind of veer off a little bit. But he still hit a ramp. And
shop truck.
They call it shop truck. It's a white S10. He's been around a long time. I can't remember the guy's name. Mm-hmm. I'm sure somebody will tell us about it. But he hit the dirt pile. I wasn't there. It was that 10-5 till I die deal, and it was too depressing for me to go because mine ain't running yet. Mm-hmm. You know. And he hit it.
I can't hardly go neither.
It ramped up and it landed down there, and he was okay. His truck survived good enough. It'll be put back together.
Do they got sand down there, or is it just that wall?
Man, they said that sand packs like concrete after it packs. They have sand. They got a net. There's a car the other day, and it was a newer model Fireball Camaro.
Oh my God, the Fireball Camaro, the red one.
Yep.
I was out there when they first made the first hits. Did he wreck that thing?
Flipped it off the end. He's the one that went across the road into the ditch over there. Now, he only had about 105 mile an hour trap speed. He hit the brakes, nothing. And, you know, unless you've been racing 20 years or so, even when you've been racing that long, that's a scary deal, man. Mm-hmm. And he hit the net and went right through it and hit the dirt pile, ramped over the road on the other side, put it out in the trees. I don't know what happened.
Are they actually inviting the ambulance out now and making sure they've got, because
there's EMTs there. I know that
Tulsa does it, Tri-State does it, Outlaw does it. Mm-hmm. When we were out there,
nothing.
I don't understand.
They've got an EMT there,
okay,
medical trained person there, but there's no ambulance.
There needs to be. They need to let them in for free just in case some bullshit happens.
One thing that they're growing, they're getting better. They really need to have a better tech, and it's hard for tech to catch anything like that car. And that's a new model car. It should have passed tech anywhere, but he did that 15-inch wheel conversion, and so that eliminates an e-brake because you know brakes are so big they don't fit with a 15-inch wheel. I don't know what all's involved, but whatever it was, it didn't have brakes.
Wow.
A lot of people on there was commenting about the conversion. It messes with the ABS. I had no clue. Nothing that new can afford it.
yeah, Fireball. I mean, what are those? 100 grand, 120 grand,
probably 80.
Yeah,
and
they're big money.
Apparently, it's fixable. They said they're taking it to some body shop. I just read the comments online, you know.
Yeah, I haven't even looked.
Them guys doing good. What they got to work with, they're trying hard. The end down there, I think they was having somebody from Stroud come up there. I seen the comments. They made a new net. It's supposed to have been on there by this weekend. I don't know. That net's going to be the only thing to save it from going through the other side. They need to put some pea gravel down there that won't pack. That'll slow them down. But really, there's not enough.
I told you what I think needs to happen.
And I agree with you.
I think they need to twist the track like 30 degrees towards the east. And I know that it's re-pouring the deal, but like I told you, I think the people that are running it, you know, they should be able to get a good deal on asphalt. I think they're an asphalt company or something. I think they give them a longer shutdown time. Yeah. That's what I think. Something. Cause
you know, when it first opened out there, it's 1,000-foot track. And mine being the poor boy deal, I didn't have no back brakes at the time. And I got back brakes pretty quick. First weekend there, that next time I was there, I had back brakes. Had disc on it by then. Dirt car stuff. Weld the brackets on, put a full-size Chevy caliper on it, and that's what I still run.
There you go.
Yeah. And I won't take them off this time because I'm getting all, you know, it's all strange brakes now and everything. I'm actually doing a little bit of race car stuff to it instead of stock everything.
But he was showing me some pictures. He's, I don't know if you want me to say anything, but he's doing some nice stuff.
Yeah, it's just going to be a tubular front end with some good brakes. I mean, I don't care. It's on that Casper deal I got, that BadCo Racing deal, that page, so it don't matter.
Yeah, 632 with a, what was that, 1471 blower?
Yeah, it's a high helix. Or a high helix because they wouldn't let me go with the screwball, you know.
Yeah, or one of those PSI, like old Yinko guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's... I'm telling you, this street car deal used to, if you had a 10-second street car, you could hang with it. Now, if you got a 10-second street car, you're sitting on the sidelines wondering what happened.
Yeah. I've said, you know how many guys on here have said, it's gotten crazy.
It has, man. I mean, now, you know, at one time, there was I have a sticker on a glove box lid. It was an 68 pickup. That was, I can't remember his name. Was it Schumacher? One of them funny car guys, first to break the 200-mile-an-hour barrier. I'm like, yeah, now we got, I seen Turbo Todd get back in the day at Tulsa doing 200, you know? So, I mean, it's getting insane.
It is.
And even 8 mile times now, man, them guys are trapping 150. 160, and that's 8th mile.
That's why a friend of mine said, hey, man, I'm thinking about going up and winning the fastest truck of Tulsa again. He said, what do you think? And I told him, I said, man, I don't know now.
Yeah, I don't
either. Brother, it's I know that I'm gonna fix my Blazer. I'm just gonna run a small block, put some juice on it. I like spray.
Me too.
And I'm just gonna have fun. I don't know what else to do, because back then I would try to be real competitive with it. I just don't know. You got to spend some money.
You do. You really do. Even back then, there was some fast stuff out there. It's just sometimes you get lucky. The fastest car don't always win.
No, and they put a bounty on me because I'd won several in a row, 4 or 5, and by then they said, "Hey, we're going to give some extra money out." And I don't remember exactly how much, but they had a guy come out of Missouri and he was driving it was like a 421 small block on spray, and it was in a Chevy Love, and he slipped on the line.
Yep.
And I got him. And it was the last race. I got down to him, and he was killing everybody. He was running like 920s. And I thought, he's going to get me. He's going to get me, but I'm going to do everything I can. I leaned that son of a bitch out. And I blew that's when I blew the ends off the spark plugs. And I gave it 9 kinds of hell, and I still won, but I knew when he slipped.
It was done.
Yeah, we both launched. And we weren't that much a difference, 4 or 5 car lengths. And I look over my side mirror, and I seen him back there 3 or 4 car lengths, and I thought, man, I got a chance here now. Yeah. So he must have spun on the line, or you're right.
Yeah, a 10th in the 60 foot makes a lot more than a 10th on the other end.
Yeah.
So if he lost it in 60 foot, it was done. But they put a bounty on me when they first started opening it back up there. If you remember when Ben and them was trying to promote it a little bit at the time, and then it kind of. The person running at that time, they kind of run them all off, but it was
which track?
Outlaw up here.
Yeah.
It was I always just doing arm drop races, trying to get the money up to get the system to put in there, and something happened, and that money disappeared, and even that benefit race they had, that money kind of didn't go as planned either. But I won 5 in a row or so. I had old Robin Sanders up there, and his car was hurt a little bit, and they had bringing all these guys in, and I'm not fast. I just got lucky. I could hook on anything just about. I ended up getting outrun by
and
you're
probably like me, consistent.
Yeah, I'm pretty consistent at it.
Even though I got down to like that last 3rd or 4th one, I remember I was shaking. I grabbed my leg, and I said, "Calm
down. Dude, it's bad.
Calm down. This is just the last guy. You can pull this off. Show that your truck's fast." And he did. He slipped.
Yep. That's why every race I go into, like man, you're going up there and you got butterflies, you're shaking, but you get in there, as soon as you get staged up, it's like,
yeah, you
don't even notice what's going on next to you until you get to the other end. Then you can put them a fender on them, or whatever you got to do.
Tunnel vision.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
or in the zone, maybe not tunnel vision, more. It does that.
You're zoned out a little bit there.
Yeah, and when I finally get my dirt car, I was going to tell Joe about it. We didn't do real good last night. Our first run, we got 9th in the feature, and which is good, but that's only because a lot of guys crashed out. You know what I mean? They just were. I don't know what was going on. The car was tight. My God, my car was tight. But what I'm getting at is, and that was just the first night.
You'll get the setup right. It just takes a little while.
Once we get the setup going, it's the same thing even in dirt racing. Everything gets slower. And when I go through the corner, it's like almost not tunnel vision. You're just in the zone.
Yeah.
And my breathing quits. I quit panting, and I breathing calmer, and it's like slow motion or something. I don't know.
It is. Like when you do the big wheelies I do in the quarters and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I had a friend in there with me. I let passenger ride. He strapped in, and I stood that thing straight up. Man, and I let off the nitrous, and it still ain't coming down. It felt like I had enough time. I looked over at him, and I told him, hang on. Yeah. So I'm going to have to let off. And he looks at me. All right. And he reaches up and grabs the top of the roll bar. And I let off the gas, and let it start coming down. And in the video, you watch it, it goes up, down, done. But in the car, man, you're sitting there. You had enough time to sit there and talk to him.
Yeah.
And I can imagine what it sounded like if it was recorded.
Yeah.
Like that, trying to talk, just mumbling something there real fast.
Yeah.
But in the moment, dude, it's like slow motion.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Whenever you're on the line, it's the hardest thing to tell guys how to come off the line.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I haven't done it in so long, it'd take me maybe 1 or 2 passes to kind of get in the rhythm. I always tell them when they should be taken off. I tell them if you see green, you're already too late. Yeah. You see what I mean? Late.
And it's dependent on the light, too. Now they got LEDs, and I haven't raced against LEDs enough. The other day, I was slow on the lights. I had 120s and stuff like that. And that's, for me, I used to have 005s. Even on a Pro Tree, I could 00 light it.
Yeah.
And that's how I won a lot of races.
And to win, you got to be below 10s. You got to be like 02, 04. Yeah, 02, 04. Consistent to win.
And a lot of these street car guys, these heads-up guys, some of them are pretty slow on the tree. Some of them's real fast, but some of them pretty slow. And if you can get 2 tenths on them on the right there, sometimes they'll panic, put too much power to it mid-track and spin, and you outrun them. Yep. That's how I won a lot of races. A lot of cars was faster than me. I mean, we're talking half a second faster. And I'd jump them out of the hole. I'd 60-foot them. And they could have, if they just run down on, Mike White could have run me down half track on motor. He could have just stayed in motor and passed me. He was faster on motor than I was on nitrous. And he panicked, got into nitrous, got it sideways, now outrun him.
Yeah.
And them guys are fast. And then now once they figure out what I was doing, they had my number and they could get me, you know. But yeah, when they put a bounty on me at Salisaw, and a guy from Oklahoma City or somewhere had I think it's 347 and a little Ford Mustang here on nitrous. He finally come and got me by half a car, which probably same thing I do. He put a half car on me. You know, just put that fender on there. And I said, there's always somebody faster, man. Always somebody better.
Well, what I was going to say was I was wanting to ask you, because I don't know if it's the same for everybody, because I've told only a couple of guys this. When I get up there to the line, and I've drag raced, let's see, 24 years altogether. I mean, from the day that I set foot on a track and actually went to a real drag race. So, 16 years old, I went to Tulsa International and raced my old truck.
That first time I was on the actual strip was about that time.
Yep. And I raced a lot of street racing and stuff at that time. And then by the time I was in my early 20s and stuff, I really was trying to go to the track. But I always tell them, they always ask me, when do you need to take off? When do you need to do this? And between me and you, it's hard to explain, but I feel the light.
That's right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
exactly. I don't look for the light. Like once it starts clicking, it's like my body starts.
It knows. It's almost like muscle memory, they call it. You already know. You're like, there it is.
It's like intuition, but it's like you got an internal timer.
Yep.
And I'll catch myself even kind of flinching with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why everything. And I think that's because, you know, I've actually seen some studies on the internet and stuff that said that your neurons and stuff like, you know, they can't activate that fast. So something with your internal clock to where you can get it to launch that fast, you know. But me, I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel the light. You the same way, huh?
Yeah, same way, man. And it might take a pass or two to whatever car you're in. You go up there, and I had no LT1 Camaro that you left on the second yellow. You know, it's when you're sitting there thinking, all right, and you know it's like you can slow it down. The light kind of comes on in incandescence and goes off.
Seeing it slow-mo.
Yeah, and you're like, Phoom, go. And that Camaro, I could hook it like that. But my Blazer, it was the third yellow. You know, I always had them 2 different timers there, and you're like,
yeah, and people say, and I've said, when you need to hit it as soon as the third yellow comes on, or when the third yellow comes on and gets fully bright,
yeah,
or when it almost goes out.
You see LEDs.
That sounds crazy because you see click, 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 but when you get used to it, I can see it slow mo. It's
weird, man. It sounds weird.
I do that with street lights.
There you go.
You can,
as soon as one turns yellow,
you know the other one.
Or it goes to red, whatever, you count 2 seconds. Baby.
Well, we mean and in drag racing though, first of all, you got to get used to that tree.
That's right.
You got to know which one they're running, because the one he's talking about is I forget which kind of tree it is, but I know a pro tree.
Pro tree, you got 500s and 400s and 500 pro tree.
Well, it just goes, and you hit it.
All 3 lights come on and you're done.
That is.
Now, bracket racing and your sportsman trees go click, click.
I like
click.
that.
Yeah, that's easier. But that pro tree, if you know, I mean, you just gotta. I mean, it's so fast, and if you when you double O on one of them,
you gotta realize it's one time green.
Yeah, it's all 3 lights at once and goes green, and it's.
Flashlight.
I've done both. Good Lord. I've done the hand drops.
I'll
be honest with you, I haven't done a flashlight because I haven't been in this new racing scene.
Man,
like
they've just
this.
been doing flashlights, a few years now, it seems like, and I've done a few of them. It's kind of different. I missed the arm drop, but at the same time, hey, whatever works, man. I've had people arm drop from the side of the road way up there. You got to look over to see them, because they're afraid to get in the middle. Yeah, okay. We're a 2-lane road, nothing, no room, okay. But we raced up there by my mom's house at Bunch on 17. That road was barely meet cars on it, and we raced. We had tubbed out cars up there. We old Camaros, and it didn't matter. Roadrunners. I take old 4-speed Roadrunner out there and play on it.
What do you think about old JJ? And he's got that. If you chase, you race. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it, man. It's
if you even jump your car, you better go.
Yeah. Chase is a race is.
I think that's kind of baloney, but because I noticed the Oklahoma City guys normally they say he jumped the line.
Well, the chase is a race deal. If you don't move, the other guy jumps and you don't move, he still jumped. But that's the thing, man. When someone else
jumps,
you're paying attention. Your peripheral vision's over here, and he's going to jump. You're going to flinch, and if that flinch means you moved any, you just accepted that race.
Yep.
And I understand what they're doing, and yeah, it's kind of neat, but man, it's definitely different. And that whole crossing the line thing, and as long as you get to the finish line first, man, that's some demolition derby crap. Hey, look, there you are, cross the line, hit him.
What we noticed was when they get about 3/4 of the track, they'll swerve at our cars.
I've seen that.
They go, like that, and on the show. And I think they try to pass it off as they're hitting another gear in it.
Or hitting a bump or something.
Yeah, but at right about the same spot, they swerve at your car, and our guys half the time will either lit out and.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get in your head. They're hustlers. They're not racers.
They're hustlers.
Now they're racers. Don't get me wrong, but on the street they are hustlers.
They're hustlers,
and they got some pretty fast rides, but they're definitely hustlers.
Yeah. Have you been around that street racing a whole lot?
Quite a bit. I don't know JJ and all them. I've hung around some of the OKC guys back in the day before they was superstars.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was a lot of fun back then. That was, I think, 06 or 07, somewhere in there.
Well, I told you, I know some of them too. So.
Yeah. Oh, Justin, I bought a car off of him. He's a pretty good guy. When Murder Nova, the first time it was ever out, was when he took it out to Noble. It was a big block, nitrous car. I think it's a nitrous car. And I was there that day, and they's all cool as hell, man. I mean, I didn't pass tech up there because their tech was a little different. They went and told tech guy, hey, man, he's up here from there, and they let me go. All it was, I didn't have a firewall between me and my fuel cell. You're supposed to have a fuel firewall between you at big tracks. Ain't no firewall. My fuel cell sits in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, my Blazer is just sitting back there too. I didn't have a wall. You
can put it in a can, they said, like in dirt car cans. You can put it in one of them. They said that's legal.
So, yeah, mine was just strapped to the ass end.
That's what mine was. Little aluminum straps I got at Lowe's. Inch and a half wide, just bolt it down.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
I stuck me about 100 pounds of lead just off to one side, to counteract it. Because I scaled mine.
Yeah, I did too.
And I scaled mine mainly because Caltrax or Slidelink, they recommend that you even up the ass end with you in it.
Mine was 4 pounds difference in the ass end. That's all it was. My battery was on passenger side, nitrous bottle on driver, fuel cell in the middle.
Yeah.
And when I was doing the whole Centerville had a hard tire race deal as a street tire deals. I had to have a street tire with tread wear above 250 or 220 or something. And I had a 1/2 inch stud that sticks up in the back about, a foot. And I had grater blades with holes blown in the middle. I just stacked weight until I got where I needed it, and it hooked.
Yeah.
You know, but no, when I scaled it, I was 4 pounds difference in the back, but I was 118 in the front because you got your steering box and everything on the driver's side.
Yep.
And 54, I think it's 54.1 on my front end weight.
Yeah. No comment on mine.
There you go.
I told you earlier.
Yeah, they got to know it don't matter if they know everything about mine. That's fine.
He don't care. He's still going to run their ass.
Yeah, it's all right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And, man,
well, you got to be a wheel man too, especially on a wheelie.
That's right. And you got to have everything straight.
Everything has to be dead on. I know if mine pulled one way or the other, I would shut it down, go to the pits. I would adjust a little air pressure, try to pull that shit back.
Mine pulled a little one way. As long as it didn't cross the line, I stayed in that thing.
Just everything in it.
Oh, man, as long as it wasn't too bad out of shape. Now, if I got crazy in the middle of the track or something, I'd let out and just run down on motor or something. But a lot of these guys will let out, get back in, let out, get back in it, and hit the wall. And if you race Southsaw at all, or even on street, you ain't got room.
Yeah.
And it's not wide enough. You better be careful. You go straight.
Well, you think they'll get it all together down there?
They're trying pretty hard, man. The effort they're putting in it is good. You know, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
And they've attracted some pretty good heavy hitters and small tire. You know, those guys, like Apollo, Jacob Wright, and all them.
What about, well, yeah, I think
Beater Bomb. They had Beater Bomb there.
I think they need to address the safety deal.
They really do. They need a better tech, but they're working on it. They're getting closer. You know.
You think that owner's ever going to let them buy that track?
No comment. I know the guy. I know the owner too.
Do you?
Yeah.
I personally, I know the old owner that passed away. You know, feel bad that all happened, and I know some of the family, and you know, send my condolences to them.
Yeah.
But I know that I went down there to meet with him personally right before he passed away to buy it.
Yeah, he was.
And
I like Ken. He was never a bad guy to me, but he was a businessman.
He wouldn't have no part of it.
No, he was a businessman. His son has it now. Steve. Steve's not a bad fellow either, but he's a businessman just like his father. And you might go down there and have a discussion with him. But this guy here, he's trying hard with it. And really, you need more room than that. It needs to move the starting line back by the land behind it. You know, what needs to happen is the house needs to go away. But that's a nice house just to go away. You know, just tear it down or something.
No, you're right. You're right.
It needs to go back. When they first opened, they run it down 1,000 foot, and that was horrible. I mean, you had no shutdown.
You may be able to turn that house into something else too.
You could.
If you move it back, you know.
And just use the back. There's just a little shop in the way. Is it? You can move it back.
You could use that to keep the equipment to take care of the track.
Yeah, or even use that house as a little restaurant right there or something.
Whatever. Change the outside of it where it looks more commercial looking.
Put windows across the back or something where you could set skybox or something, you know?
Exactly, or a VIP section, you know. Tear out some of the walls, put glass windows all the way down, and make some rooms like Tulsa's got, you know, where you could rent a room.
Be the VIP room.
Yeah, the boom boom room.
There you go. Something about the boom boom room.
You could do it. You'd have to be able to get a good deal on it to be able to convert all that, though.
Yeah, you would. That's the only thing that really helps. It's established. It's there.
Yeah. And
it's been a fun track. We've been there since day one. We helped them when they was building it. A bunch of us locals. Yeah, a bunch of us locals helped clear it and helped do it. You know.
Did the state pour that for free? Is that how that got all poured?
I believe so, but they didn't really seal it up under it very well. I don't think originally they thought it was going to do what it did, because that first couple of years it was open, man, I was racing in the street ET classes and the street classes, you know, and man, we'd have 50 cars, 60 cars, and then a few of us started winning quite a bit. I'd either win or runner up. There was 3 of us that was, you know, fighting for it.
Why did Ken start it? Did he race?
No, but he really liked hot rods.
He didn't.
He just thought of a business opportunity in a way, and he thought if it didn't go through, he'd use that for his landing strip for his plane. So, you know, and he did good. I mean, it did good at first. Some management issues as far as the people that was running it. And Ken was really hands-on, and he shouldn't have been in sometimes, you know. And he, like I said, he's a businessman. He needed money the way he wanted it.
My deal is I didn't want to rent it from him, though.
I know, because then you put all your money in it. And you're
you're just pissing it out.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you here's the deal. In order for that, that's what I told him. I said, why would I put all this money into this track? And you're just going to keep it.
Yep.
And you could boot me out or raise the rent or do whatever. I would prefer to buy it. I'm here to make a legitimate offer so that the money I put in it,
stays with it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he had ways of doing his contracts that said anything you put in it was his.
Yeah.
And he was good. Like I said, he was a businessman. And if you was a businessman and went out there and knew what he was doing, you could probably play his game and you probably could have got it where you wanted it. But he didn't have to sell. He didn't need the money. And he was...
That was the perception that I got. Yeah. Because I went so far as to pull, I told you appraisal on the property.
Yeah.
And I went down there with what the banker would give me and everything else. And...
so trust me, all us locals got to hear about any of it. We all knew what was going on, hoping the track would do something.
Well, we were going to borrow the money to renovate the whole place. I mean, we were going to asphalt that whole damn field.
Yeah.
The whole thing. We had it to where we were going to put outdoor flat screen TVs, weatherproof TVs up on the poles. We were going to put speaker system where you could hear it from any place around there. Not just a restaurant, but you would have been shocked. Mm-hmm. I mean, we even talked to the state where they were going to give us where we could go ahead and put 6 more entrances. We were going to combine them right there where you'd have a 6-lane entrance when you come in with little booths to let everybody in. And we were going to advertise it to bring the Tulsa boys down.
As long as you raced on alternate the weekends between all the other tracks. Yep. And they're trying to do that now. They're doing a little bit, like I said, but they're just trying to work with what they got.
I know.
And that's going to be hard to do.
Did they get the timer set up? Is it actually got time now?
Yeah, it's been working. They have glitches once in a while, but it's going to.
Are they using the old system or did they get a new one?
New one.
Is that right?
Yeah, all that old wiring, you've seen it.
Yeah.
They got a new one. And like I said,
do they have a restaurant of any type?
Just that little grill deal there that you sit outside, and then it's pretty dang good food, really.
What about fuel and stuff like that?
Well, I don't know.
Because my deal is we're putting together a big race trailer right now.
That'd be...
And we're thinking about having a concession deal where we pull up and we've got race car parts from spark plugs, nitrous plugs, belts, all the little stuff.
Yeah.
And then have about 400 to 600 gallons of race fuel on it.
Yeah.
So, and we're talking everything from a little bit of alcohol to race gas.
That'd be good on some street races too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people break down there and try to get going again.
Well, and if we can talk these track owners into letting us come in either for free or very little, the deal is they get greedy on that stuff.
They do. And see,
and I know other tracks that let the vendors come in for free.
Yeah.
Just so that more people will show up.
Most people want 10% or something like that, but see, I get my nitrous in town here. Gene Martin sells it, GNS Auto out there. But he's my buddy. He'll go out there anytime he's in town. He'll go out
I didn't know he sold that.
Yeah, he got mother bottles sitting there, scales there, and he gets good nitrous.
So does he buy it or does he have a machine that sucks it out of the air? I've actually thought about.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they got.
He buys it in the mother bottles.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's got a freezer, deep freeze sitting there. He'll get your bottle right. And when they was letting him come to the track, he had 3 or 4 of his own bottles, got stickers on them that you bring your bottle, leave it there with him. And you take his bottle because it's already full. And, when you get done at the end of the night, bring him his bottle back and get your bottle back, whatever. And whatever nitrous you didn't use, I guess you lost. But most time, go through a bottle pretty quick.
Yeah. I would only get 2 to 4 real good clean passes, and then I was on to the next bottle.
Yeah, and they make this deal. You've seen that nanotech stuff? They use CO2 to force every drop of nitrous out of it. Man, if it works like they say it does, man, that's some good stuff. I had a friend that put it on his, and he liked it. If you got a 10-pound bottle, you get 10 pounds out of it.
Wow.
It keeps the pressure up. I think all it does is force CO2 into it and pushes all the nitrous out.
Well, once you get below a certain pressure, you don't even want to run it.
And even if you heat it and get a lot of pressure on it, you can't even get it to do nothing because once you're down to the last 2 or 3 pounds, it don't seem like it ever wants to hit.
Anytime I got below 900, I was like, I ain't running it. I'd go grab a fresh bottle.
I've run it below 900, but with the bottle heater.
Yeah.
I warm it up,
Well, I meant even heated. Yeah, if it got below 9, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with that. So, and I know there's nitrous still in her.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And there ain't no telling how much.
Ain't no telling. Open up in the cab truck, feel a lot better about it.
And where is this at? Where you're getting the nitrous? You said here in town?
Well, it's on 64. He's got a Vian address, but it's right there where you turn to go to the interstate. You know, on 64 highway where it meets
Dwight Mission?
Yeah.
Road?
Turn down, go towards Dwight Mission, turn right that way, and it's a mile or two out on the right.
I've seen that little building.
Yeah, it sits out kind of up on top of that hill.
Yeah, middle of...
Right before the railroad tracks.
Yeah, I didn't even know what they did right there.
Oh, man, there's pretty much full service shop. You know, he's got nitrous and everything.
Well, I've seen that new little building.
Yeah.
You know, little pub bar. I know where you're talking.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that truck I'm driving, one of his bottles is behind the seat right now because I didn't have time to go down there and get my bottle, and he just brought me a bottle.
Well, if we, that's what Ben's been asking me, if we're going to get us some nitrous here where he can just stop by and get it before he goes to the track, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that was another thing too is, you know, with that property, we were thinking all kinds of stuff with this stuff. So
that mother bottle deal is not bad. I mean, but you do need a freezer to really get your other bottle so you can fill it easier.
Yeah.
You know, they said you can't pump air and make weight, but I've seen them been pumped up before so much they actually weighed something. I don't know how that works, but
now, and not change subject, but over there, Jim Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you just come off the street and use him, or do you have to go through like Pete's Machine Shop?
It depends on his mood. A lot of times he's by himself now. Since I left, he had one other guy come in. That guy went and did his own thing. Mm-hmm. Kind of exclusive, I guess you'd say.
Is he? You think he's about to sell out, or?
Nah, probably not sell out. He's just slowing down. He docks that stock eliminator stuff. He does. He does heads and manifolds. He does manifolds like your cast iron quadrajet. Yeah. He gets $1,000 for a manifold.
Wow.
But when it's worth 2/10 into track versus everybody else's manifolds, you know, 1/10 and a half, it's worth it to them guys. Them guys spend big money.
Does he do any acid porting?
Nah, that's what the manifolds get. But he does some regular porting too. He's got, you know, machine cover. That acid porting, most time he does it to soften the metal more than anything else. That's a thing of the past now.
Is that right?
Yeah, they still do it. They'll acid dip the whole intake sometimes, but.
Well, I'm just thinking the guys that are trying to get by with their stock intakes and stuff like that, and then they give it that rough look and trying to, you know, they're trying to cheat a little bit, trying to open
that's
intake runners.
That's some dirt car stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few things going on there, but you don't know about them. Talk to him on that. And for the dirt car stuff, David can get it done on stuff like that, intakes and stuff. You know, and old Faustin up there at Talcott, he's not bad either. You know, he does some of them.
Does Jim have a flow bench?
Yes, lots of flow work.
So he does. He got different flow machines in for all different types, like intake. Got one for the carb.
He don't have the. He just got a same flow bench. It's I don't remember what it is. It's got the digital readouts and stuff. He just changes the top plate.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and carburetor, you only can do so much at a time because I think his flow bench is only good for so many CFM.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, and what's he, I guess, intaking heads?
He does, intaking heads. He does everything, but he's trying to get out of building the motors because I've had to go in and help him a few times. He was out of doing the short blocks. He had to help do the short blocks. And that's all I did was short blocks mostly for a long time. He's had a few employees there, and that's all they did too, short blocks. Yeah.
You ever thought about getting back into it?
Don't pay enough.
Well, I mean, you know, what if he ever sold out? Build you a pole barn, have your own old BadCo.
Could.
All the way.
Yeah, he lets me come up there and do what I want right now, though.
Does he?
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's nice.
I help him out quite a bit. Since I've left there, I've went up there and I've probably balanced a bunch of cranks. I've helped him do stuff. I've, you know, built some stuff for him, put a short block together for him. I don't get paid for it. I just go up there and do it because he lets me use his stuff when I need it, or he does stuff for me, you know. I took my manifold up there and it needed to be port matched a little bit, and I didn't have time to do it, so I took it up there to him, and he did it for me in a night, and I got it back, and he even used the machine to cover up where he ported. I was like, didn't have to do that, but okay.
Well, it sounds like you guys are close.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Like I said, he's just getting he's getting older and don't want to do it as much, and he's being picky.
I got you.
All the good ones get picky like that and end up.
That's me. The more and more I do this electric, man, it's getting harder to sign me on with certain things because I'm like, hey, I've got so many customers that if you don't want a good job, then you just go get whoever. So you get tired messing with people.
I've heard an advertisement for you opening another place in Tulsa or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your radio ads work pretty good because I hear them all the time.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've caught people singing in
there
the
you
burger
go.
joints.
Yeah, I just see it. Actually,
Go electric. Yeah, people over there like jamming out, and you're like, what?
What the heck, dude?
Yeah, what is that?
You kind of want to go like this and walk out like, oh, man.
Well, I don't like advertising that I own the thing. So half the time people in town don't even know I'm the owner. So it's cool. I like to keep a low profile on that.
Yeah.
But this podcast is definitely starting to open that up. I was telling him we had some fans over in Spyro that hit us up, and they wanted to take pictures and autographs and all kinds of stuff. I was kind of shocked, you know.
Like,
it's
what
like,
the heck?
well, yeah, I'm not used to it, so I guess there's a little more people to watch the videos than what I realized, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and we want everybody to subscribe.
Yeah.
You know, they want to subscribe, hit like.
Yeah.
Definitely subscribe, and definitely get on board with all of this. So, but hey, when do you think the old Blazer will be back out?
I'm hoping for end of this season and get me a few hits in. That way I know it's what's going to do, and then all next year. Gotcha. I hope. I keep changing my mind on what I want to do. Now I want to put a funny car cage in it and stuff, so I have a little better. I'm redoing the bars in the back because they was mild steel, 1 3/4 from where I just had a roll bar in it for a long time. I just added to it. The rest of it's chrome moly. You know,
chrome moly.
Yeah, everything else is chrome moly, but the main hoop and the back bars.
And where are you getting your chrome moly at?
Strobel, Kevin Strobel.
Yeah, I've been over at Strobel. Boy, their cages are high.
Yeah, they do good work though, and
I mean, they get. How much was a cage when you checked with them?
I never even checked. My friend's got a bender, and he hooks me up. You know, I'll go down there and help him too.
So the metal is not too bad for them because we got our benders and stuff.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
He was the easiest one to get stuff from. My buddy Brad Lewis is the one that's going to get the metal for me. He's got a bender, and he's a lot better welder than me.
Yeah.
And I needed to pass tech, a little bigger tracks. My old cage was in there since '98 or so. That back hoop and the back bar, and honestly, we kind of hit it, but it goes to the frame and it was stick welded. And you can't have stick; it won't pass tech. You got to have a wire or MIG or TIG.
TIG or MIG.
TIG or MIG. You got to have one of them too.
Yeah, we try to MIG everything, and then I showed you that new TIG. So
once you learn that TIG, it's a little slower than that MIG, but man, it looks pretty.
Yeah, got that pretty look.
It does.
We mainly are wanting to do like hand fabricated intakes.
Oh, sheet
metal
intake?
Like that. Yeah. And believe it or not, the end of this year, you need to come see me.
Okay.
Because by December, I'm actually putting together right now the money and stuff to do carbon fiber parts.
Really?
And I'm talking not just regular parts. I'm talking body panels, door panels, your console. We've got a system that we're coming up with, and then I'll show you that chrome thing too.
Oh yeah,
here in a little bit. Yeah. But the carbon fiber deal, we're wanting to take fenders and just replicate the fender into carbon fiber fender.
I've got a fiberglass dash going in mine this time because one of them big wheelies I did.
But did you?
It broke.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I put a fiberglass front clip instead of my steel one. That was only 14 pounds difference.
Really?
Well, to me, that's not worth $1,800.
I agree.
That was crazy.
I agree.
And anybody out there, they better double check the weight.
What was it advertised? What was it advertised difference?
Well, it didn't. Back then, a fiberglass front clip to an S10 was like state of the art. That was like a pro mod or something. And what I did was we had a guy take some fiberglass mesh and some not conduit, but it was pipe and some fittings with some Hyman joints and stuff, and I made it removable. So when you see mine, it all tilts up, and I can just sit there right at the tire and change spark plugs. And
I bet yours is
nice.
like a show quality one of the thicker ones. That's why it's so heavy. And the new ones, I seen one here a while back.
Just they need to double check.
It don't weigh nothing. But you have to Zeus fastener it on.
I'm not saying it's that heavy. I just, when I bolted it on and I have the steel one on, there was just
not much difference.
There was no difference. And I thought, why did I waste this money?
And see, I still got my front clip sitting out back. I'm just going to put it back on there for now.
Now, I do think the plastic, like ABS plastic front, those weigh nothing.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, but what I'm getting at is like the inside door panels, flat panels. What would I think we're going to do here, up here? We're going to, I'm going to fabricate, and you have to make it. I'm not going to buy when I say fabricate, I'm going to make some flat panels of carbon fiber and like 4 foot by 4 foot sheets, and I'm going to have to hand make them, and then we'll trim them up, clean them, polish them, and then I'll slide it into a deal, and I'll make probably 10 to 20 of them. And if guys want to take those home, and you'll be able to cut it with a jigsaw, and you can Zeus fasten it, or you can rivet it to your door panels or whatever. We're going to have some in-stock flat panels that'll be carbon fiber. So if they want to do little door panels and stuff, or they can bring the part to us, and there's actually a system that I'll be able to do. I'll be able to replicate those parts.
In other words, you make a mold fairly easy for it.
I'll be able to make a mold from the part you bring me, and I mean everything from the intake to spacers to I had a guy here last week that actually showed me how to make engine brackets. And we made engine brackets that were like paper thin, just as strong to hold the alternator on and everything.
That's kind of cool.
It was pretty cool, sick. Man. And I thought that, getting everything really lightweight, but it's strong too.
Yeah.
And plus, I think even in dirt racing, they all use aluminum. But can you imagine, even just a hair bit lighter than aluminum, but stronger?
That'd work great.
I think so too, man.
And that'd be
or like your tubs.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh, carbon fiber tubs.
Yeah, they
you
sell
look in there and you go, whoa.
They sell those now, but they're high dollar.
Yeah, and the deal is I'm trying to purchase the system to do this, and it's going to be expensive, but it's not going to be near as expensive as buying it from off the internet, because they want $2,000 for a fender.
I know it.
$2,000 for another fender. Man, $2,000 for the hood. It's $4,000 front clip. No, we're wanting to cut those costs in half.
I think you ought to get in them coatings you're talking about too.
Yeah. Yeah, the little bit of coating, that's what, and I tell you what, a friend of mine, he's got a little booth set up too that he showed me with the powder coating stuff. So
you see, I had Precision Finishing and Broken Arrow do my intake and stuff, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew exactly what I needed, and I went and told them they'd never done one like that. They'd done the outside thermal, but they'd never done that inside, keeps the fuel suspended. And it took him a little bit to get the stuff, but
when you say keeps the fuel suspended,
it don't let it soak into the manifold. Aluminum's porous and it soaks fuel in, so it keeps it suspended in the air instead of just hitting the aluminum and just kind of running. I mean, think about that. It is worth power. Yeah.
I mean, I always wanted to keep a lot of my stuff kind of rough because they said that it actually atomizes the fuel a little better. It hits the spreads. In
a way, yeah, but it still soaks it up. I had to jet mine down when first time I did that coating on mine. I had to jet it down.
Wow.
It started running fat after I did that. I was like,
and that's inside the intake.
Inside the intake. Now, outside of the intake, we was dynoing a 302 Z2080, and the outside was coated. Incoming air sounds crazy, but you shoot that temp gun up on that incoming air, it was 114. Now it's a steel roof and it's heating up, but that intake got down to 74 shooting it, and that's why it was in the dyno pool. I stood in the dyno cell and shot that intake, and it would start sweating up like an alcohol motor.
So Precision
Finishing and Broken Arrow can do it.
And Broken Arrow can do it. So Precision Finishing can do that coating.
Yes, they can, and they're good.
And I told you I had a block that had that stuff on it, but I haven't done the inside of an intake.
Yeah, you'll try it. You'll like it.
I'm gonna have to. It's what I like. I get to invite these guys out, and they just make my shit faster.
Yeah, he gets to learn stuff.
I get to learn a whole bunch.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Brandon here, he knows so much about motors. Holy smokes, I thought I do quite a bit. Because you don't realize I have so many people call me.
Yeah.
And I have to go call Brian and hell, I'll call him too now. He knows a lot more than what I realized.
Been building them for a while.
Yeah.
Built my first one at 12 years old.
Wow.
And I couldn't torque the bolts. I was a little bitty guy, and it was a 351 modified Ford, and I couldn't torque the bolts. I had to have my stepdad torque them for me.
Got to. Yeah. You know much about turbos?
No.
No. Supercharged?
little bit on supercharged, not much.
I think that guy out of McAllister that runs at Yinko, he told me to come see him, and he's from what I gather, he told me he's a guru with those superchargers.
See, all I know is mostly nitrous and NA stuff. Turbos are some kind of magic snail thing that makes them go faster, and superchargers are big whiny things that sit on top. So
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. Well, everybody, you heard it here first. Casper, the bad to the bone blazer. Now, is it going to be the same color when you come out?
Yeah, it'll always stay same color.
Okay.
That's how people know it. So.
Well, he'll be out. So, Brandon, thank you very much. And everybody tune in, subscribe, hit like, and thank you again. Y'all have a good one.